Looking for that next arcade-inspired game? Like the game Trials HD? Check out my review of FutureGrind coming up next on Mumbles. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Mumble. Now, today we are doing another game review, but here's the deal, guys. Things might look a little funny because I'm using my green screen behind me, so you guys might see a nice, pretty background, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan. Or you might just see a green screen. I don't know yet. I don't know how it's going to work. So just bear with me this week as we are getting things situated. Now, without further ado, I do have to ask you guys all a huge favor. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and let me know what your thoughts are. I always love to hear your feedback. I love to hear what I can improve. All these stuff help the channel grow, and just know how much I appreciate it, guys. Now, without further ado, let's talk about FutureGrind. FutureGrind is a game that is available for $19.99 on the following platforms: PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, Steam, and itch.io. Now, this game is created by a company called Milkbag Games. Now, Milkbag Games is a company that has created, up to this point, 3 different games. Those games include Disco Zoo, Photobomb, Sidewards, and now FutureGrind. So what is FutureGrind about? As you can see currently on the screen, I have the actual description from the creators themselves. But I'm going to try to tell you in my own words what this game is to kind of try to simplify things a little bit. If you've ever played one of those trial HD games in which the basic goal is to get from the starting line to the finish line as fast as you can, and along the way you have to do tricks and flips and all that kind of stuff, then this is the kind of game that is. In FutureGrind, you take control of a 2-wheeled machine and do your best to beat each level by following the given requirements. Now, these requirements may be something as silly as do a 720 backflip, or it could be something as difficult as do an 8 times combo. It all depends on the track and the bike that you're given. Now that we've talked a little bit about what this game is, let's talk about the graphics, the soundtrack, and the controls. First off, the graphics in this game has some very pretty graphics, starting with the background scenery. They do a great job of creating some nice, colorful background scenery that really does a good job of telling you, kind of focusing you in on the gameplay mechanics itself. I also have to mention that the gameplay mechanics themselves are very pretty. The bike is pretty, the lines that you actually have to ride on are pretty. Everything about this game is very pretty and beautiful. So, big time props on the graphics in this game. Soundtrack wise, as much as I hate to say it, this game does have a bit of gaming elevator music in it. Now, what do I mean by that? Basically, it's just background noise that is just there to kind of keep you going, keep your attention. Nothing that really impacts the gameplay. Now, control-wise, you simply have a jump button, and then you use your little controller sticks to actually control your little bike as to which wheel you want to land where. That's all there is to the controls in this game. Controls are very even and very steady, and they work very well. Now, let's talk about the gameplay of this game. There isn't much left to talk about in the gameplay of this section. I do want to mention that each level has a different bike that you must use in order to complete the level. And each color wheel coincides with a different color of track that you can land on. If you do not land on the correct color track, then you will explode and have to start the level over and over and over as many times as it takes. We've talked about pretty much everything there's to talk about it. Let's talk about the cons of this game. The first con to this game is that this game is rather repetitive. This game, it's just one of those games. It's like any Trials-inspired game or any game where you're going from one objective to the other. It's just kind of the same thing over and over again. Yes, the challenges that it gives you do change, but for the most part, you'll be doing the same thing constantly. Now, the second con to this game is rather difficult. It has to do with something in my brain, at least. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys will have an easy time with it. But in my brain, the thing that I could never understand with this game was, okay, blue wheel has to land on a blue track. Pink wheel has to land on a pink track. In the moment when I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, and I'm freaking out. And that is why this game is so difficult. So we've talked about the graphics, the soundtrack, the controls, the gameplay. We've talked about cons. We've talked about pretty much everything there is to talk about. So all now that's really left to ask is, what is this game going to get on our Mumbles review? This game is one of those games that just is fun to play, guys. It's a very fun game. You're going to have hours and hours of enjoyment out of it, because if you're anything like me, once you get into it, you're like, oh, I beat this level, and I got to go to the next level. And you get to that next level, and no matter how many times you try, it's like you have to beat it. and you try over and 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 over until you actually beat it. The nice thing about those trial type games is they had a lot of replayability in them. Even if they were repetitive, taking on those challenges and doing those things was always something fun to go back to. So with all that in mind, FutureGrind, you did the trial type inspired games proud. On today's Mumbles review, you're taking home an 8 out of 10. I love this game. I love what it's made. It's only $19.99, so not too expensive of a game. It's just an awesome game, guys. Please check it out if you like the trial inspired games. I absolutely love this game. Anyways, guys, this has been my review of FutureGrind. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please smack that subscribe button, smack that like button, and smack all those buttons. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.